deep in the heart of Central Texas. It's the Best of the Outdoors podcast, brought to you by Texas Fishing Game Magazine, the voice of the Texas outdoor nation. I'm your humble host, Dustin Warncke, the associate publisher here at Texas Fishing Game Magazine, and I'm so excited to have the chance to connect with you, whether you are watching this on YouTube, whether you are downloading this on your phone, on a podcasting app. However you have found us, thank you so much for doing so. Please tune into our other shows. Please subscribe and tell a friend. Please leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes. All that fun stuff. Love you guys very, very much. Excited to have the chance to share the outdoor nation, the Texas outdoor nation with you and beyond. Those of you guys that listen out of state, out of the great state of Texas, please, thank you so much. Welcome. Come in. This is a lot of fun. We talk about a lot of general subjects around outdoors in Texas and beyond. Obviously, this is a magazine, regional magazine, so we have kind of a focus on Texas, but that doesn't mean that what you're going to learn here is not applicable in other places in the world and other places in our country. I'm just so excited to be back, guys. I'm doing 3 shows this month, and not doing 3 shows because it kind of is a celebration for next month being our 4th year on the airwaves. And I've not done, there was a time I took like maybe a 6-month break from the show back in 2016. But ever since then, we've been going every 2 weeks, getting new shows out. And this has just been immensely gratifying to me to be able to, it's a creative outlet for me. And it's a creative outlet, so is video, so is writing and all those other things. But the podcast is kind of a constant creative outlet for me. It's kind of cathartic, when I mean that, kind of therapeutic. And I just really appreciate you guys checking us out and telling a friend and leaving a 5-star review. Okay, also, I was going to showcase a couple of sponsors on this show. Another reason for doing 3 podcasts this month. I didn't forget about anybody. I just wanted to not squeeze everybody into 2 shows and wanted to give some love to some sponsors that we have here. An ad spot from Progressive coming up, as well as a live read from Accusharp. And we'll get into Accusharp first. Accusharp eliminates the guesswork of using stones. Just 3 or 4 strokes with your Accusharp and you're ready to go. Buy one now at your nearest hardware store, order online, or buy one at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Visit Accusharp.com/buy-now. That's Accusharp.com/buy-now. Or just visit Accusharp.com. They've got all kinds of different knife sharpeners, guys, for all kinds of different uses, all kinds of different, if you're in a kitchen, they've got an Accusharp for you. If you're out hunting, they've got an Accusharp for you. It's a really, really good sharpener company. And they've got a wide variety of other products as well as knives. And one of the things that I've been really interested in is getting my hands on their game processing kit, which they have a rib spreader. They've got an area to put your cable ties. They've got an area for you to put your knives, and a nice little carrying kit, and just everything that you need to field dress an animal, and then to process it further than that once you get back into camp. I always love having a nice, convenient, game processing kit with me, just so I can basically, if I'm doing camp meat, for instance, if we're going to process the whole deer legally, and consume it at camp, I'm basically constantly, cutting up meat, cutting out sinew, doing all the things you've got to do to prepare your meat for the grill or for the frying pan, and, just having a good solid knife set like that Accusharp game processing kit is just awesome. So really appreciate these guys sponsoring our show and being a part of what we do, and big shout out to Accusharp. So Accusharp.com, it's ACCSHARP.com. I'll put that in the show notes so you can check that out. And you can also check out my past podcast. I did the other one, the fish feeder from Texas Hunter Products. That's another great product. Then we're going to talk about Progressive, and then Accusharp again, and then we just have a whole host of really good sponsors this month. So just really thank you guys for all of you guys that supported us and that help us with those sponsorships. As you know, I sell my own advertising for most of these shows. So it's just one of those things that's constantly taking off with the podcast growing and new people listening and all that other stuff. So if you've not done so already, like I said before, tell a friend, give us a 5-star rating review so other people can find us on the airwaves of digital world of podcasting. So next up is a ad spot that I don't have to live read from Progressive, and I think you'll really like it. This is another funny one that I've enjoyed, and I think you will too. Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Now put it in reverse.
Got it.
Now forward.
Okay.
Reverse. Now turn the wheel.
All right.
Turn the wheel. No, reverse.
Left or right?
Reverse. Slow the down. No, kill the motor.
There's a reason they say curse like a sailor.
I said reverse.
Many reasons. Progressive's boat insurance has you covered. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Well, we're Doc now.
I know the language is a little more colorful than most of my other stuff on the podcast and my YouTube channel and the writing stuff that I do, but those are they kind of give me a chuckle every time I listen to them. So anyway, Progressive Insurance, our other sponsor for the podcast, Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com. All right, jumping right in, getting in with Dustin Ellermann, having an awesome podcast with him today. I sat down with him, and it's Friday before I'm releasing this on the following Thursday. So this is last Friday when you're hearing this, and or last Friday when we're recording this, and then the following Thursday when you're hearing it. Dustin Ellermann, like I said, Top Shot Season 3 winner, very good tactical instructor, very good on self-defense, very good on 3-gun and a lot of other competition runs that he does, and just has a marksman camp. I mean, a camp where he teaches marksmanship and shooting skills and those kind of things to kids, and as well as the parents, if they want to participate, they can learn a lot of stuff too, and we'll talk about that here on the show. But just the basics of some tactical stuff. I just wanted to talk about tactical stuff this time of year because the weather's nicer. We're getting out. It's not too blooming hot yet in Texas, and we're getting out there in the shooting sports and stuff like that and having fun now that it's not so dad blame cold anymore. And it's not so hot either, so this is kind of a good time to get you and your family outdoors shooting. And so here's my interview with Mr. Dustin Ellermann, Top Shot Dustin, as they call him on social media. Again, be sure to check out Accusharp, check out Progressive Insurance as our sponsors, and check out Dustin at Top Shot Dustin or Dustin Ellermann with 2 N's on his website, marksmancamp.com, which I just actually ordered a Pray Hard, Shoot Straight magazine off of there, a hex mag that had that imprinted on the side. I kind of thought that would be cool. So just in honor of Dustin being on the show, I bought something to support his marksman camp of some 30-round magazine for my AR-15. And then he's got one with the Second Amendment on it. They got a lot of cool gear, a lot of cool outdoor stuff that you can buy at marksmancamp.com. So be sure to check that out. I'll mention that at the end of the show as well. So thank you guys. Here we go with my interview with Dustin Ellermann. Joining me on the phone, the other Dustin, brother Dustin of Texas Fishing Game, Dustin Ellermann. How you doing, Dustin?
Pretty good. How about you, man?
Man, just staying active and just constantly. It's fast and furious, life in the fast lane over here for me and you both, I guess.
Yeah.
You just finished your last marksman camp. Tell me something about that.
Yeah. So, we run them in the seasons in the spring and fall, and so the last one was this last weekend, and it was just a great season. You know what I'm seeing time and again is we have the best kids and parents that come out here.
That's so
cool.
Because
you're getting those kids that are, you're getting kids that, they have good parents because the parents, one, they pay for them to come, but then two, they come with them to experience with them or just bond with them, spend time with them, and so we see some of the coolest kids out of it. But we have a blast. You know, we're going down the zip line at night with paintball guns, and throwing tomahawks, and ending on the 50 BMG, and lots of just Top Shot style challenges in between. It's a lot of fun.
And just to remind folks, Dustin Ellermann, winner of Season 3 of Top Shot back in 2012. Can you believe it's been 7 years now?
Oh, man, yeah. Crazy. I got a constant reminder because I have a 7-year-old who my wife came out there, for the last episode, she was pregnant with her. So
oh, wow.
That's how I date the show.
You date the show on that daughter. Oh, my gosh, that's funny. And what an intense showdown that was with, I forget who you competed with. Y'all are friends now, I forget.
Mike Hughes.
Mike Hughes,
he's
that's right.
Owner of Next Level Training that makes all those cool dry fire training aids and such. So
you told me about that at the podcast we did back at SHOT Show, and I think that's kind of cool to have, because he was at the show, correct?
Oh, yeah, he's always there.
Cool. Good deal. I know, and then I got to meet with you. I didn't talk about this on the shows we did back then, but I got to meet Gabby What was her last name? Forgive me. She's a Top Shot shooter.
Franco.
Gabby Franco. Yeah, that I really enjoyed, because I've watched her on not only just Top Shot, seasons when the Top Shot was still on, but I would watch her all the time. I always follow her on YouTube and elsewhere, wherever she's doing social media stuff and Instagram and stuff like that. And it's just kind of cool. Like, I know that girl, I met her, so it's kind of neat. So that's kind of neat. But so today I just wanted to talk to you real briefly about tactical, how to get started in tactical shooting, tactical training. I mean, you do a lot of drills and runs and all kinds of different things that are really unique but really common in the tactical world in a lot of ways. Just unique to me because I don't do this stuff every day.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I compare myself to some of the other guys that are really experts and really teach, and so then I feel like I don't know as much, but
you know enough,
sir.
Enough. So yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, I know. I guess what I see the most is when I do personal private pistol lessons with folks, and if you're coming off of a static, I guess. Okay, see, I shoot at camp here on my own place, and so I can do things that a lot of people can't do. I mean, some of my YouTube intro videos, I'll just be pulling drive-bys from my Humvee or Deuce and a Half or Ranger, and just be driving by the berm and just blasting away and seeing what you can hit. And I shoot at night, and that's something else that we've started incorporating on our marksman camps, especially the teen one. Actually, it happened spontaneously. It got too dark. Well, I'm like, well, heck, you guys are older, and we got red dots on these rifles, and I got the Humvee back there with a light bar. Let's just light this thing up and keep shooting. Everybody's like, that was awesome. I was like, oh, y'all don't get to normally do that. And so
it's like second nature to you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's just like, I mean, we shoot suppressed so we don't wake up the neighbors, and we can go play if we want at night. And so, seeing that, and for normal people, especially if you have to go visit an indoor range, I hate those places because just the concussion from a regular handgun when you're shooting in a stall is uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's good training, because if you had to use your handgun in a defensive situation, for me, who's used to using outdoor, when I'm indoors, like, concussion off the walls in a hallway, that's not fun.
Right.
Anyway, tying that all back together is the way normal people just shoot at a range, and they're going to top off their mag, and then they just hold their handgun up there, and then just print holes in paper. And so while that's some training, marksmanship style fundamentals, I suppose, it's a long way off from real world defensive, shooting and moving, and your drawing, and checking your situational awareness all around and all that jazz. And so a good thing to do is just try to incorporate more. And I mean, it can start from a lot of ranges don't even let you draw from a pistol.
That's true. One of the ones I go to is like that, Dustin,
handgun,
for sure.
handgun. From a handgun.
I know what you mean.
The holster, that's the word I'm trying to say.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. I went to the H, I got a handgun instead of holster. Anyway. So you have to incorporate a lot of those things to really, get a tactical sense of training. And so if you don't have, just off a drawn from a holster deal, if you can't do that at the range, of course you can do it at home too. But then you have to just remember to do that as well. So I'm a big proponent of dry fire training, and so. We talked about MyQs, the next level training stuff. That's a dry fire gun completely, but that has a laser indicator. But you can do that with your own handgun as long as you're safe, and just set some time aside to just practice different drills. And heck, while we're even on that, we actually sell a deck of dry fire training cards with different ideas on our store at marksmancamp.com.
Oh, cool.
And so you don't know what to do because you're just clicking your trigger at the same spot on the wall like you always done. It's like, well, this will give you different ideas of try with some fake reloads or reloading your magazine, or try it from this position, or do it at night, or now only left-handed and you're clearing the corners and using a flashlight, different things like that.
Yeah, I understand that. And so it's marksmancamp.com, you said?
Yeah.
And you can pick up some of the dry fire training cards.
Yeah, it's a lot of little different ideas. I don't know if I've even made it through the whole deck myself, but
okay. At least you're honest.
It's a lot of. It'll give you at least an intro into the tactical type style training. And another thing I realize when I'm doing those private lessons is when you're just going out there, standard people at a regular range, just firing at a target repeatedly with your full magazine, you're really only practicing that shot placement, that trigger control.
Right.
But in the grand scheme of things, getting your gun into the fight, that draw we already talked about, but then that whole presentation and just some trainers don't like the phrase muscle memory because your muscles don't really have memory, but getting that acquisition just with your body itself without using your sights, and that's why I do my lessons. We only shoot like up to 5 shots max at a time,
right.
And just if you start with a whole presentation of going to a low ready or your holster every shot, and then just doing single shots with a proper follow through. You don't want to train into a training scar so that you're only shooting one shot and then holstering, so that in the rare case that you do use your pistol, you don't want to take a single shot and holster because you're just so used to it. So you got to shake things up.
Might need more than one shot in some cases too, yeah.
Dude, I've heard the crazy, it's been a while, but just talking about training scars, is there's a story that this police officer was in a vehicle shootout, and he didn't make it.
Wow.
And they found in the investigation that his handgun was empty, and he had all of his empty brass were like lined up, piled up in the car, like on the dashboard armrest, something like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the heck? And that was just his MO of normal training,
right.
where he'd empty a magazine and then police his brass.
Right.
And
wow. That's
so
bizarre.
that's always stuck with me. Is like, wait, you're in a firefight and you're picking up your empty brass.
Right.
So sometimes we, relapse to whatever our training was, and that was just something like, oh crud.
Yeah.
It's kind of a wake-up call. So
I
make
mean,
sure that you're training in a way.
It's just like, we say tactical and practical, in our newsletter that goes out on Tuesday, because it's not just enough to be tactical, which is used around a lot. It's enough to also be, in self-defense mode, which is one reason why we all learn tactical stuff. A stress situation, stress indicators, things like that what would you do if the heat was on, and that's where I was going with that. As far as, yeah. And
the stress part, you could always mimic that, but just a lot of calisthenic activity. Run 100 yards and back, and then do some push-ups, jumping jacks, burpees, or whatever, and then you have to do the same thing.
Sure.
And so practice that a lot, when you're doing kind of a 3-gun thing. But what one of the crazy things, I trained with the FBI once and got to run through their simulator, and also went to Gander Mountain, one of the ones in Trinity or something, a temple or someplace with a T. They had it there with the 360 degree. So the video's on YouTube. There you go.
Okay, cool.
And what I saw, so the instructor can drive the scenario, and if you negotiate your way out of, you can talk your way out of the gunfight type thing, and so you can try that stuff. And with the 360 the simulator, there's going to be threats more within your tunnel vision's taking you in. That's the whole point of that there.
Sure.
What I found was interesting, though, was when I got under fire, I found myself, of course, drawing and shooting, but when I was taking fire, I would go into a very low crouch position. I did it several times through the simulator. I'm like, what the heck am I doing? And the instructor's like, it's a natural survival response to make yourself a small target.
Right.
And so I guess, okay, if I'm shooting, good enough, it's not like it's a huge deal, but at the same time, well, you want to be able to move around, and it's hard to do that when you're tiny in a crouched position. So sometimes you don't know what you're going to do until you get in a situation like that. And so that was an eye opener for me. I thought I kind of had this thing down until someone shot at me, and I curl up in a ball shooting.
Well, like you say, I think one of the things that I recommend to shooters, and I've got a few videos on YouTube about this that basically talk about, doing that stress test, if you will, on yourself by running 100 yards or doing calisthenics, jumping jacks, whatever the case may be, and running in place, whatever the case may be, get that heart rate up and then go to action, because that is really what you feel in a situation with, Top Shot's a good example of that when you were going through that course. I mean, that was pressure, but really in a gunfight situation, if you ever are in a tactical situation where you need to use tactical training, I mean, that's really what it's going to be like, right? In the most case.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be your worst day at the range. You're going to sink to your level of training, but it's going to be the worst.
I haven't heard that, but that's good. That is bet on your worst day of training, yeah.
Yeah, and, bringing up Top Shot is like that. Well, that's like the gauntlet we do at Marksman Camp,
yes.
Where we put up like 15 challenges and make them do that, but we're making them end on the course and custom at 50 yards on a golf ball. And even me, I ran the challenge this week. Everybody's hanging out and they want to see me run too. And I do that, and there's pressure because they're recording too. And okay, the day before, I'm shooting one of my favorite targets is dum-dums now.
Cool, yeah, the little suckers. Yeah, you get in the bank.
They're loud. They splatter. Yeah, I mean, when you're using a suppressor, when you hit a dum-dum at 50 yards, it's loud.
You hear it.
Yeah. So anyway, the point. Oh yeah, you can smell them if the wind's right. You shoot enough of them. It's really cool.
That's too much fun.
And pretty cheap and all. But okay, the point of this was I'm shooting the sticks themselves at 50 yards. But after running that whole challenge, it like takes me 5 shots because I'm just blasting away, because I haven't been breathing for all the guns I'm aiming at, and then so that's a great way to train is you get yourself out of breath and then see how you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, get yourself in that go mode,
Yep, it's a different thing, and that reminds me when I was doing more 3-gun challenges, more heavy. I would run with that CERT pistol, and just shoot. I'm in a forest, so no one's gonna think I'm running armed down the road.
Right.
But so I just go on a regular jog, and point shooting became easy for me because when you're jogging, you're not focused on your sights.
Sure.
But that target acquisition, would just kind of a muscle memory thing would come into play. And there was a match that I remember you had to run from like the starting point to a tower where your rifle was staged, but there was like a dozen pepper poppers on the way. That's those taller, skinnier ones.
Uh-huh.
And I'm running, and I'm shooting a Glock 34, which is the same as the CERT pistol I was training with. And then all of a sudden it just all clicked. I was like, holy crap, this is what I do. It's like I point shoot and jog with this thing. And so I never looked at my sights, never stopped. There's a few misses, but you could see where your splash was and adjust. And that was just fun.
That's cool. It's kind of like when I know you're still getting, more into archery stuff, but it's kind of like when I got into bow fishing and it made me a better recurve shooter. Because I had to aim low, the archer's paradox, all that stuff that you're thinking about, it just your muscle memory. I hate to use that word because I know you hate to use that word, but that memory of coming back, drawing back to an anchor point with your bare hands instead of a release is a lot different than using a release in archery. So, I mean, more instinctive, exactly. Instinctive shooting, aiming down that arrow and that kind of stuff with no sights. And so it's kind of interesting how you say cross-training different ways will make you more natural at different things. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. You bring up the instinctive shooting. I was shooting off the trampoline a while back.
Yes, I remember that video, yeah.
So next, since you brought up archery and instinctive, I'm going to see if I can do it with a recurve off the trampoline.
Cool. Yeah, perfect. You know how to shoot a recurve, but yeah, that's wild. That would be so cool to watch, too. I can't wait to see that video.
I can't wait to try it, but yeah, we'll get it out there. If it never comes, I either forgot, got too busy, or failed.
You can private message it to me, Dustin. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. No, it's funny, but it's one of those things where the more you do something, the more comfortable you get, and that's what the whole idea behind tactical training. Is that correct? As far as it mattering the most when somebody's life is in the helm, I guess, if you will. and danger.
Yeah, and shooting is a perishable skill.
Yes.
So
don't use it, you lose it. Yep.
You got to. They say like a percentage point a day, and so if you haven't been to the range in 30 days, a month, you're already only at 70%. If you only qualify and train twice a year, like they say, some cops even that's as much as they shoot. You're already at 0% at that point. So.
Right.
Got to stay on top of it, and you don't have to be at a range. We brought that up earlier. Just dry fire training is almost better training at times because you don't have that psychological recoil and the explosion going off in your hand that makes you a poor shot at times, and you can just focus on that break. And something else is just shooting at least moving a little. In the defensive world, it's called getting off the X, and just. Even if when you draw or if you go to a reload or change a malfunction, you just take a big side step. I've read several stories of that, saving officers' lives just because they stepped to the side once they saw the threat and that bullet went right where they were standing.
Whoa. That's solid. That's just good general training as far as self-defense. It's just avoiding the offense, I guess is the best way to say that.
Yeah, just a simple size. And so my theory is most people are right-handed shooters, right?
Yes.
Okay, and if you think about criminals, hopefully they're a bad shot. But when you're a bad shot and you jerk that trigger for a right-handed shooter, where's that bullet go?
If you jerk it, it goes
low left.
The low left. I was just going to say left, but I wanted to answer it accurately because accuracy is everything, So.
Yeah, so anytime someone says, man, my gun, I just can't adjust the sights anymore low left, I just kind of laugh.
It's you, dude. It's a user error at that point.
Yeah.
You've taught me many things are my user error.
There.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so my point is, if most people jerk the trigger low left, so what that bullet's going to go to, to my right.
Right.
As I'm
on the offense,
standing at a threat
or defense,
and so it just naturally, and since I'm right-handed, I just always practice taking a big step to the left. Hopefully, I'm getting away from them as they jerk the shot, and hopefully they're right-handed, and I'm not stepping into it. Anyway, that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, you kind of take a gamble because they say 25% of people are left-handed, but I mean, in a situation like that, I think to just step out of the way anywhere, you'd probably be in better shape than just standing there and waiting for the bullet.
Just move to cover, or better yet, don't get in a gunfight.
Don't get in a gunfight at all. Exactly. And if you're a police officer or something like that, that's kind of hard to do sometimes to not do. Is get in a gunfight, but it's just it goes back to what we were taught in CHL class or concealed carry class or open to carry class now is just to avoid the threat to begin with. You don't have to use the gun unless you're absolutely required to use it. But the thing is, Dustin, I remember going and buying one of my first handguns, and the guys at the gun shop up in Killeen, Guns Galore, I think is what it's called. Anyway, it's a local gun shop up here. It's got thousands of guns in it. And they would always throw something at me, while I had my back turned. And they said, that's how quick you got to be. That's how quick you've got to make that decision and be ready to be in action. And that's a lot to think about in one instant, So.
It is. And, but that's that situational awareness.
Right.
So it's kind of like, why is that guy putting something in his hand? And then, so you're
right.
expecting them to
being
throw it
aware
at you
that
when
you're
your
going
back's
to be
turned.
expected. Yeah, you expect it to. Yeah, exactly. Expect the unexpected. That's good. So that's good.
Keeping your head out of your phone sometimes and all that.
We all could use that sometimes. I know I can.
Yeah.
So use that reminder, not to be, situational awareness. And there's a Vietnam veteran that I've got on a YouTube video of it. Had a near-death experience. I've told you and many people about it. Steve Gardapian.
Yep.
He was a scout helicopter pilot. He'd fly Loaches and Hueys in Vietnam and has several silver medals of valor and all kinds of different awards and everything. And I looked him up the other day and I said, I had no idea you had this many war hero awards. And he's very humble about everything, but he's got a bunch. But anyway, his whole joke when we're fishing is situational awareness. And I think about you when he says that because I'm like, that's something like Ellermann would say, so, but it's true, it's true. Situational awareness. So
It can save your life.
Yeah, it can save your life. Exactly. Tell us real quick, Dustin, about the two videos. The one that we talked about at SHOT Show that you had just gotten 35 million or something views on the shooting through the tree video. I thought that was cool. And then tell us about the LaRue tactical video.
All right, so I just did a little experiment for my own sake because I've shot different trees in the past, and of course, it even depends on the season of the year on how dense they are.
Sure.
And I just wanted to see ballistic penetration. I've shot some dead ones that were, 12 to 15 inches, and it shot through with the AK round. So I'm like, well, shoot, a healthy pine that is the size that you could take cover behind. I think we ended up at a 19-inch tree in front of my shooting berm that was safe to shoot.
Right.
And anyway, I went all the way up to 50 BMG. And I'm not going to give you the spoilers, but that video's got, it's over 40 million views now.
It is now. Wow. That's awesome.
And so next we went out and we shot a tree down with 50 cal. we brought two rifles because we didn't want to overheat them.
Right.
And so I won't spoil it and tell you how many rounds it took. But did you see it?
I haven't seen that video. No, I need it.
So what would your guess be?
I'd be lying if I told you, man. I would just say a bunch.
A bunch, okay, yeah. I guess some people are like 10. I'm like, come on. 50
okay.
BMG is powerful, but it's not magical.
So you took a 50 BMG against the same size tree?
Yep.
Did you get as
like
many
18.5-inch diameter?
Did you get as many wackadoodles saying that you were killing that tree and they wish they could kill you and all this other stuff? It's amazing some of the comments that you've read off of there. People that are just wildly crazy about you hurting that tree. Like we're gonna, like you said in that last podcast we did, you're gonna hold a funeral every time you mow the grass. I'm still laughing about that one. So
it's crazy. I mean, I post some of the hate mail I pull out of my spam filter every week on Facebook.
Yep, I get some too, but not near as much as you do. But that all being said, you also took a shot at some LaRue Tacticals guns, or their gun and suppressor. Their suppressor, right, or is it somebody else's suppressor?
No, yeah, their suppressor, and
okay.
So it's their surge setup.
Okay.
So they offer it as an upper. And so it's like suppressed ultimate rifle upper is a surge type, acronym that I just screwed up because I didn't have a G in there.
That's okay.
But we wanted to just try to do one of those, torture test it.
Okay.
And so we were just going to send a lot of rounds through it. But, and I'd seen the surge before, so it's like a 14-inch, 5.56 upper.
Okay.
And it has a pinned and welded extended brake. So it's the same as their Tranquilo brake system, but it's like, goes all the way through the suppressor, so you don't have any baffle strikes.
Right.
And so the idea was the military put a call out for kind of a suppressor that won't crash and mess up, so that goes through a firefight with, several hundred rounds through it. And what you get is, the soldiers that have a messed up baffle striker sometimes will just try to shove something down it and clear the way and beat them out in the field.
Wow.
And so they put out the call for something that was better. And Mark LaRue answered. Now, I like telling full disclosure. I'm at SHOT Show 2 years ago, and they hand it to me. I'm like, that's kind of ugly. I don't care for it. And so I had no, it's just a weird muzzle brake and stuff. I'm like, nah, just give me the traditional one. But then I shot it. And the coolest thing about shooting it is, dude, I've been battling blowback with all my suppressors just so much that the blowback, the gas just stings your eyes. Like I got this Griffin, what is it? Recce 5, and I can't shoot it like more than twice without having to blink. Just so much blowback, no matter what gun I put it on. This thing, we're laying on the trigger. The cyclic rate on it was full auto, about 1,200 feet per second. It was a fast cycle rate.
Right.
And I got like 200-300 rounds in this meltdown video or torture test because it didn't melt down. And I'm like, I haven't had to even blink yet. This sucker is working. And so we back to back put 1,000 rounds through it. I had one malfunction that was a magazine-related one because just a round jumped up too early and tried to kind of double feed in there.
Yeah, it cooked off, right? Am I saying that right?
Okay, if you're counting the cook-off.
Okay.
I just counted that as a barrel being too hot.
Never mind. Wrong one. Yeah, I watched your video. I'm just saying. So, and it's nothing else. You're brutally honest. So that's what I like about you.
Yeah, the cook-off was well, that happens if you leave something in a rifle that has reached that temperature.
Right.
We'd stop to spray down the gas tube just because that's kind of, they said under their tests, 180 rounds will start to you'll have some sort of malfunction in your gas block or gas tube.
Right.
So it's like, well, we don't want to shut down a video early just because of the gas tube issue. We want to try to burn the suppressor to the ground, and so I'd stop and cool down the gas tube, and it was just nuts. The thing ran like a top. The suppressor, we had a meter there, and we actually got quieter at the end. We metered it after 1,000 rounds straight with the cherry red hot suppressor. It was still quiet, and then we shot a group with it.
Yes.
And that was nuts too. The group was like a hair. It was like they shot like a 0.9-inch group before, and I shot a 0.9-inch group after the 1,000 rounds. Well, like it was a 20-minute cool down afterwards. It did have a shift in zero, which, okay, you expect something to happen,
right,
because we just got the barrel cherry red, so it probably just found a new home. And it was just crazy, man. It was crazy cool because all those there's a couple suppressor video meltdowns on YouTube, and one, it was a Silencer Co. Omega, I think. They had it on a saw, and around the 300 to 400 round mark, it ruptured.
Oh,
and
wow.
The 700 round mark, it actually disintegrated, and all that was left was the mount.
Holy smokes, that's crazy.
So, I was a little nervous doing this.
I bet you were.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, all the meltdown videos I've seen, when you're doing full auto, you're capturing heat like it's not supposed to.
Right.
You're not
designed to be like that in a suppressor, exactly.
No, that's torture. I mean, there's just regular ARs that can't make it over, 400 or 500 rounds of full auto.
Right.
And we're capturing all that heat, and suppressors do as suppressors do. They kind of send it back into the gun as well. And anyway, so it was cool. Y'all can check it out. And I mean, it's like after that, I was like, I got to get me a Surge rifle now because that was just way awesome.
And that's a 223, yeah, or I'm sorry, 5.56, but yeah, similar.
Yep.
But a small diameter bullet, and I just love how you did like the balloons on the back of the target and stuff like that to see how the penetration and stuff like that would go. Right? You did that too.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that was something else. We didn't. Well, yeah, that was actually a failed part of the video.
Okay.
So we took those 1-inch steel balls that are from a stone quarry. They use them to tumble and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so in that area, they can get them by the train car. And so Mark had experimented with it beforehand and said, if you just fill up a 3.5-inch stud wall with these, it'll stop everything. I was like, well, by golly, put one together and we'll put some balloons behind it and test it. Yeah, it wasn't enough. We went right the first magazine popped 2 balloons. They're like, I'm glad we didn't stand behind that.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, it's like your tree deal, man.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the theory sound, because a lot of ranges, they'll use like pea gravel and whatnot,
yes,
and put it in between 8-inch panels, and they're supposed to stop a lot because the pea gravel is like those steel balls will do, is it deflects, disintegrates, and absorbs the energy.
Right.
So I mean, kind of like a sandbag, but just a larger media, and so it's something I want to play around with a little more. It's kind of redneck ballistic protection there.
Yeah, I like that, and I've always liked that about your videos because you're very down to earth. You're an approachable guy when you're in public and stuff. I know you're kind of a semi-celebrity with the Top Shot win and everything, and you still have a ton of YouTube subscribers and everything that follow your stuff. But the thing I've always liked about you is you'll still give your honest, brutally honest sometimes opinion, and that you're still approachable and will talk to people that come up to you and stuff like that. Because there's just so many other people I know that have been on TV and done all this, that, and the other, and they're just such a pompous jerk about everything. And it's the one thing I value about you, Dustin, is how you how we share the same name, number one, but number two, how you carry yourself is what I'm trying to say.
Well, thanks. Yeah. I just say I'm just a dork that won a TV show once, so it's all good.
That's all good. No, that's cool. But yeah, basically, I just thought the way that you handled that gun in that video with showing the strength of that, and then doing the after shot with it, because a lot of guys that do these gun videos and stuff that smoke a barrel or whatever, I've seen Iraqi veteran 8888 do one before with an AK where it catches on fire and all this other stuff, but they don't shoot it after they let it cool down to see where it zeros, or your point of impact and then your group. And I thought that was really cool what you did in that video.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, is like how to actually, we didn't have a failure. Like, I don't know if we could afford the ammo
to really make that gun fail. Yeah, right.
And plus, it's like, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
I'll let somebody else hurt themselves doing that.
No, I'm with you. I thought that was good. But another thing I was going to ask you back to concealed carry and open carry and self-defense shooting is, what about the Mantis? Did you have any play with the Mantis thing?
I love that thing.
Okay, cool. I just pulled them up because I thought about that when we started talking about self-defense stuff, because I thought you would check that out at Range Day. You and I were at Range Day together at SHOT Show this year, and the technology of dry, that's a dry fire situation, right? The Mantis system
and live fire,
right? And live fire.
Both.
Yep, that's right. And it
or like
CO2.
Yeah,
CO2.
Right. Airsoft.
Okay.
And so I don't know exactly how it works. I have one of the older generation ones. The new one that they released at SHOT Show had a lot more extras and
bells
such
and
on
whistles. It. Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah. But I mean, it uses the same app on your smartphone, and they update it all the time. There's like kind of a community social, feature that, so say you got one, I got one, and we just want to brag about our scores.
Right.
You have a little scoreboard there, and so it can be like a video game even. But so what it does is it just analyzes by movement what you're doing with your gun, and it senses that dry fire, the hammer dropping. And I was so impressed because I thought, well, how does it know when I'm charging the gun versus a dry fire or a mag change? I bet I can fool it. No, it knows when it's shooting. And so then you can put it in live fire mode and actually use it at the range too, and kind of a ball and dummy drill without the dummy rounds. Mm-hmm. And you can shoot a string or whatever, and you can go in and analyze every shot. It'll grade you out of 100%, how much you moved. We talked about that low left. So if you're slapping, jerking the trigger, and you're the one who's making the, you're the reason that shot was off target, it draws you a line. It like by gyroscopes or whatever knows the motion, and it'll draw you a little line just like your front sight would be dancing out there. And if you pulled that shot, it's going to show you the exact direction and the time that you did that, and then grade it as well. It's got different drills and stuff too, but that's I've been using that a lot. It just clamps onto your rail, mm-hmm. or if you don't have a rail, like on your concealed carry gun, they have magazine bases.
Oh, cool.
That it can attach to. So that's a really neat system.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I looked them up again, and I've got their website pulled up right now on my computer, but I looked them up because I was just kind of like, Ellermann's had a lot of good things to say about that at SHOT, and I just kind of thought that'd be a good one to bring up because of the fact that the technology that has come, just that company alone. There are other ones that do dry fire training and stuff like that, but just that company alone is just like, that's solid stuff that they've come up with there to help you practice without burning a lot of ammo and tons mm-hmm. of it teaches you as you're going through and practicing this stuff how you can improve, as far as where you're missing or where you're off, you know what I'm saying? So where you areas for improvement is what I'm trying to say.
And I found that, what do they run, like almost $200 normally?
Yeah, let me look up the order now real quick. Mantis X, yeah.
Well, I found it, so it's
$149, so $150, yeah.
I found it for $105 the other day on BigDaddyUnlimited.com.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So that's a members only kind of site,
right.
But I've done some stuff with them. You go to BigDaddyUnlimited.com/TopShotDustin, I think, or maybe /Dustin. I forget. Anyway, the first month's just $1, but okay. It was like $105, and you could just cancel your membership after that and save the money. So
I guess you could, yeah. I just think that the stuff that having the app on your phone, being able to use it at the range, being able to it's a cool idea. I think it's something like you were talking about with Mike Hughes and the system that he created, and those kind of systems that exist now didn't used to exist before. And they're all for our benefit as shooters, as people in media. I mean, they cover it all over the place. People benefit greatly, and this may save a life, in some way, because it is training you to do things the right way. That's my point.
Yeah, it's crazy, and like I call the Mantis, just like your digital firearms instructor that's always with you. It's really cool.
That's good. And then you can, like you said, compare your scores to your friends and stuff like that. I kind of think that's cool. So I'm not doing a commercial for Mantis. I just kind of thought a system like that is really ideal, for dry fire training and for live fire training. And I just thought that was cool when I saw that at SHOT this year. That's all.
Yep.
So,
and it goes on rifles and everything. If folks didn't know that, you can just throw it on.
That's cool. That's really cool. So what other, obviously you can join, there's tactical bays at gun range, like Best of the West range here that we hold you've been there before, Dustin, when they had the Texas Gun Festival there years ago.
Yep.
We have tactical bays at that range. That's the range I've started going to lately. And, there's 3D gun competitions all over the nation you can get involved in. There's a lot of different things, but I just wanted to give a basic overview of what to look for, the things to watch out for, those kind of things when you're tactical training or just getting started in concealed carry, open carry, whatever the case may be, since you're such a, you got a prowess at that kind of stuff, Dustin. So that's why I wanted to have you on.
Oh, appreciate it. And, you brought that up. It's just, where to go. Gun guys are great guys. I mean, you can just show up at like a 3-gun match with nothing. Maybe bring some ammo. And these guys will, just introduce yourself, and guys will take you under their wing and walk you through the whole thing and let you borrow their guns all day.
Right.
And I know my first IDPA match was like that. And IDPA does focus more on tactics where, hey, take cover, and, you got to shoot in tactical order, so make sure everybody gets first before you start shooting any target twice. Yeah. And accuracy counts more than 3-gun, like, spray and pray. And so you just find a local thing and just show up, and heck, you're going to learn something, and it's a great community.
No, that's great, and that's true. I mean, they're going to be jerks and buttheads in every particular organization that's not organization, but every kind of realm of possibility out there in the shooting world. But for the most part, man, you're talking about salt of the earth people. Second Amendment supporters a lot of times are not jerks, especially the people that want to see the sport get furthered and more people join the sport. They're gonna be supportive of you, and there's nothing wrong with going and after calling your local gun range and saying, hey, where can I go to learn more about 3D competitions? Where can I go learn more about open carry, CHL, whatever the case may be? Where can I, and a typical gun shop will even help you outfit to the gun that's going to fit you the best too. I mean, if they're not taking care of you, like a Girl and a Gun here in Liberty Hill, or close by me, you've got Reds and a bunch of other ranges around here, then go somewhere else. My dad took me to the BDC gun room, which I think has just changed its name to something else, in Shawnee, Oklahoma. You talk about some of the most friendly, educational guys that really just didn't want to just earn your business. They wanted you to learn from their business. And I just thought that was a cool thing. There's some really good people out there, is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
So what are the final thoughts, and then how can people find you there, Dustin?
Final thoughts. Hey, just train and have fun. Pray hard, shoot straight, right?
Yep.
Finding me, you just put Top Shot Dustin into about anything, and it'll pop up. Marksmancamp.com. We'll be announcing the fall dates around July-ish, and we'll be having some more fun.
Fantastic. Forgive my dog barking in the background, guys. Somebody just came and knocked at the door. I record this out of my office in my home. So anyway, but thank you, Dustin, for the time, for just giving us a chance to talk about some of your videos and talking about some of your different things that you're doing in the outdoors. And it's just a pleasure every time we get together, man.
Appreciate it. Hey, yeah, fun stuff, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right. Have a good one. All right, there he goes, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dustin Ellermann, Top Shot Dustin. Find him in social media. Find him at marksmancamp.com. There's a whole bunch of gear you can buy on there, like I said earlier in the show. Really, really love that guy. He has a heart for kids. He's got a heart for Jesus. He's got a heart for God. He's got a heart for people that are just learning to shoot, people that are intermediate shooters, people that are expert shooters. He can help you with no matter where you are in that. And his YouTube videos are just crazy good. I'll put some links in the description as far as his in the show notes, as far as his videos that he's done, the shooting through the tree and then the 50 BMG and all these different other videos. His Luru tactical video that he put on YouTube. They're a little bit long, some of them, as far as what you might be used to watching on YouTube, like 2 or 3 minutes, but they're really educational. It's really fun to learn from Dustin. He presents things the way I do on video, and I'm not comparing myself to him in any way, shape, or form, but he presents things real practically, real pragmatically, and things that are easily to digest. And even though he gets some wackadoodles, as I do on my channel, that are anti-gun and pro, saving all the trees and not shooting through trees and all this other stuff, there's really good information there for you. So if you don't follow Top Shot Dustin, be sure to do that. And you can check Dustin Ellermann out. It's Ellermann with 2 N's. And Dustin, same spelling as my name. And I'm really having a lot of fun having him on the show, and I really appreciate him stopping by and sitting down and getting on the phone with me. So, or not stopping by, but you know what I mean. Sitting down and doing a phone call with me. So anyway, thank you guys so much for everything. Please, if you've not done so already, Dustin subscribes to our newsletter. So do I. 2 Dustins, 1 newsletter. Also, Dustin contributes to the Tactical and Practical newsletter when he's not too busy with summer camp, which is coming up here soon. And that is Tactical and Practical Tuesday. You have Wildlife Wednesday. We have the Thursday Texas State of the Outdoor Nation. These are all free, as well as the Turkey newsletter, the Deer newsletter, the Hog Wild newsletter, the Sharks and Surf newsletter, all those specialized newsletters that are coming out and will be coming out in the future. And then we have eBlast, where we do advertising clients that basically buy rent our list, basically, of 60,000 people or so. And we just blast out offers that they have and information to educate you on products that they have. This is all good stuff. Sign up if you're not already a member of our email list at fishgame.com. You'll see a subscribe tab on the right-hand side, or scroll down if you're on mobile. Basically just type your name and email in there, and you'll get special offers for things that we have going on here, as well as the newsletter. The newsletters have banners that help our advertisers, all that other fun stuff. So all that stuff is free to you, as far as the newsletter information, the stories, the blogs, all this stuff. The magazine itself is in digital form as well. You can get a digital subscription at fishgame.com, and the fishing game gear section has all kinds of shirts, our fishing shirts. It's got all of our books. It's got all kinds of really cool stuff. And aside from all of that, I was also going to mention the whole magazine is digital as well as in print. And so our digital version is hosted on our blog, which is fishgame.com. There's going to be a paywall in front of it one of these days, but right now you can go in there. As I record this, you can go in there and subscribe and read all the different things, just like you would a blog article. It basically takes it and breaks it down to very easy to read levels, easy to digest levels, where you can read a feature story and all that other stuff. It scales well on your phone. It's a whole lot better than the app that we used to have. And I'm not saying anything about the app company that designed that app for us, but it's just a lot more user-friendly, a lot more easily accessible to get a hold of. So anyway, good stuff there, guys. Good stuff. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Please tell a friend. Please leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes or wherever you found the show, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. And I'm so excited to have the chance to share this with you guys. And please leave us a review. Thank you so much for watching, reading, and listening. Have an awesome day in the outdoors. We'll see you next time.